Here. I appreciate you being with me. Hey, how's it going out there? Doug Barry here. I appreciate you being with me. This is a live, though will be able to be replayed later, video. Quick update on some things that are going on in the world. And I've got some great news about a very powerful and very influential cardinal who's asking for the world to respond to a lot of what's happening in the world. Before I get started here, don't forget, check us out at brcoalition.com. We've got a great course on sale right now, the BREP, Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course, BREP for short. Be a brepper, not a prepper, and have yourself ready to go. Make sure you take care of the things that you need to protect your loved ones, your family, and anybody else that God entrusts to your care. brcoalition.com. See the bottom of the screen right there. Go check it out. Course is on sale right now with a free EDC kit that comes with it. It's a good starter kit, and it's going to get the ball rolling and help you really start making the right decisions. Okay, all of that being said, what's going on in the world? Got a couple of headlines I want to hit you with, and then we're going to get to a couple key things here. First of all, did you hear that South Korea is saying that Pyongyang from North Korea sent nearly 7,000 ammunition containers to Russia? That's right, 7,000 ammunition containers to Russia. If that doesn't continue to remind us that this war in the Ukraine is not over, it's been 2 years now. It's been going on end of February 2 years ago. All right, of course, we also still have the war going on in the Middle East with regards to the attack that Hamas hit in Israel on October 7th. That is also still going on. That has escalated to the point now where there's a British cargo ship that is currently sinking. It's a slow sink. You can see it right here on the news if you go check it out, because it was hit by a Houthi missile. So we've got these continued attacks still going on, not just against Israel, but against other players, other actors in this war, such as the U.S. and Britain. This is going to continue to escalate at the rate that it's going. Russia is warning that NATO is approaching a red line. And if they cross that red line, there will be retaliation. There will be response from Russia. So these things are still happening. Now, some are going to say that that's just saber rattling. I would say it's a dangerous way to look at it, because we heard Russia saber rattling, quote unquote, 2 years ago when they amassed 150,000 troops on the border of Ukraine. And then at the end of February 2 years ago, they crossed that line, and that saber rattling became actual war. So I don't look at these as empty threats necessarily. I'm not worried about them, but I'm also not blind to the reality that they could unfold when Russia is warning NATO that if NATO starts taking the wrong steps, according to Russia, there will be some response and retaliation to that. Currently, also, we've got other things going on with regards to what happened with the AT&T power outage to the cell phones, I should say, the cell phone outage. When that happened a few days back, if you all remember when that took place, there was a lot of very seriously concerned individuals. Now, there's several articles out there. You've got even CNN, and of all people, CNN is actually questioning whether or not this was, as AT&T said, just an upgrade issue. There was an upgrade issue. Therefore, everything should be fine now. There's a lot of talk that this was cyber warfare. Now, there are several people who have really addressed this. Again, CNN even has done a story on this. Many others, Fox News and many others out there, both sides, you could say, have been looking at this much more seriously. Because face it, a cyber attack doesn't matter whether you're conservative or liberal. If a cyber attack hits your water treatment system, hits your cell phones, hits your power grid, you're all going to feel it. We're all going to be in this together. So when you've got reports out there, such as what I just mentioned, or how about this one, that the FBI is investigating whether or not the AT&T outage was actually just an upgrade glitch or whether there was something else behind it. Now, I spoke with an expert who he's got to remain nameless, all right? And I'm not trying to be all mysterious here, but he's an expert in this field, and he is connected to groups like the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, CIA, groups of that nature, FEMA, and many others. He's been very direct and clear with me that it's believed 100% by many in that area that this was purely cyber attack. Happens at about the same time that a major part of our healthcare industry, I should say, rather, was hit with a security attack, a cyber attack. This is, I believe, Home or Health Change, I believe is what it's called. Forgive me if I get the name wrong on this point. This is an organization that works with pharmacies all across the country. They came out with a statement saying we've had a security cyber infiltration. Basically, we've had to disconnect ourselves from the pharmacies, and pharmacies were not able to get their medications out to people. Now imagine that. All right, because all this is pointing to the reality that many of these groups are saying. My friend, who is the expert in this field and is connected with, again, FEMA, DHS, and all those organizations, said to me, this is a foreshadowing of what is coming. Now, many of these stories and articles I've got on my other monitor right here, and I've got a dozen of them or so laid out here, are essentially saying the same thing. Are you ready for what may be coming next? In fact, some of these groups do not believe that it is a maybe coming next. It is when it actually happens. Now, I do not want to be a fear monger here. And we always have to say that. That is not the point of this video. It's a reality check, though. It's a reality check asking the question, are you ready? And then what does that even mean? All right, let's get right to it here, okay? brcoalition.com. We have a course that will help you be ready. It's on sale right now. I really want to encourage you to go check it out. The reason I believe it's so important is, look, FEMA even says, FEMA, all right, the Federal Emergency Management Agency says that every American should have at least a couple of weeks, at least, of food, water, backup power, and so forth. Now, there was an interview that Glenn Beck just recently did in the last several days with a man named William. I'm going to get the name pronunciation here if I can. William Fortune. Okay, we'll just say William Fortune. He's the author in 2009 of a novel called 1 Second After. Now, in this novel, he writes as if there's some rogue country out there, implying possibly it was North Korea, and that they actually launch an EMP attack against the United States. 1 second after that happens, what does the country look like, and where does it go from there? He breaks it down within days to weeks to months and so forth. Okay. Now, the book is very intriguing. However, what he says in the interview is that in 2009, when he wrote it, the idea was that we might be dealing with an EMP. Now, this is 15 years ago, right? And what is he talking about now? He says, look, cyber warfare is as dangerous. In so many words, that's what he says. It's as dangerous. And possibly even worse in the sense that because the FBI has reported, as another article has put out here, that the FBI is saying that Chinese hackers have infiltrated critical U.S. systems for years now. This is an article that came out just a couple of weeks ago before the AT&T incident. Chinese hackers have infiltrated the U.S. systems. Overview, they go into this in detail, that there's a group called Volt Typhoon. Now, if you haven't heard of them, they've been talked about many times by the FBI and by many others out there. And that Volt Typhoon has been involved in sponsoring, it's a hacking group basically. They've been involved in sponsoring compromised critical attacks against U.S. infrastructure. This is something that they know is going on, has been going on for years. Now, planting malware in computer systems, stuff that could already be there. Now, I don't want anybody to get unnecessarily concerned, but considering what just happened with AT&T, what is happening with different areas such as our healthcare system, the pharmacies, where you cannot get medications on time. Think about that one. Think that, you've got nursing homes all across the country. You've got grandma and grandpa, elderly out there who need medications, some of them for the basics such as cholesterol or blood pressure, yes, but then you've got other more serious stuff like thyroid medication. People who have to have that thyroid treatment every single day or they can die. And now you get a cyber glitch of some sort or some sort of serious attack that shuts the system down, and you might be punching in all that information all you want. Computers aren't working. People don't get their medication. You can see what the result could be. That doesn't even address things such as the power grid, communications, as we've already noted. When it comes to communications, imagine this. Some of you had this experience because they are saying that this hit not just thousands, but most likely tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people were affected by this. Some couldn't make 911 calls. Some couldn't just reach out to their loved ones and find out if they were okay. Now, I'm willing to bet that what it did for a lot of people is wake them up to the reality that they have not even had the conversations with their loved ones. Are they even ready? Do you have backup food, water, shelter? Do you have backup medical care? Do you have some idea how to defend and protect yourself in case there's a problem? Because again, let's go back to this key point. When people say, Are you ready for what is most likely coming or what is coming based on these foreshadowing events that we see, such as the AT&T outage, the healthcare situation with the pharmacy, what the FBI is saying about critical infrastructure being hacked by groups like Volt Typhoon, Iran, Russia, North Korea, or the Butler County Sheriff, which I did a video on previously, where he came back from a meeting with the FBI and other federal agencies. And he says in a press conference to his people, Butler County, Ohio, this is part of Cincinnati here, 400,000 residents in his county. He is ordering all of his troopers, all of his squad cars to have extra ammunition, go bags, rifles to get ready for what they believe a terrorist attack will present itself to in this country. On some level, similar potentially to what happened on October 7th in Israel. The reality of this should cause us to sit down, take inventory of what we have and what we don't have, and decide what we're going to do right now to be better prepared when it comes to having food, water, some backup shelter. In other words, if your home is compromised and you have to go somewhere else, or you can't get to your home, maybe you're just in your vehicle. You have a bug out bag in your vehicle with the right items in it that will help you survive that moment, that day, or those couple, 2-3 days. This is the stuff that we teach at BR Coalition in our BREP course. How do you sustain yourself with food, water, shelter, medical, and defensive measures? And how do you do it for 3 days, and then for 3 weeks, and then we move to 3 months, and then we use tier 4 is 1 year plus. How do we do this? It is simple to do. Right now, that course is on sale. Go to brcoalition.com and get active on this right away. The time I record this, it's going to be on sale for another day and a half or so, I think is what we've got going on this sale right now. So get out there and get active on this right away. But you've got to start by pulling up, just simply get a notepad, right? Get yourself a notepad and get yourself a pen and start sitting down and writing down your little inventory list. And I mean this seriously. Do you have backup water in your house? Do you know how to store water for backup? If a power grid goes down, water treatment plants are down. You think, many do, we're just going to run to the grocery store, we're going to grab all that we need. If those grocery stores are shut down or they are hoarded immediately because people realize that there's a problem, what is that going to leave us with? Not only will we be short on things such as food and water and medical and very important, critical, necessary things, but it might lead to, and most likely will, panic. That is something that my friend who is in this field made very clear to me. He says, Doug, you're going to have about 48 to 72 hours when things start to unfold. There will be a domino effect of sorts. You have 48 to 72 hours roughly to be in the location that you're going to want to be in to ride out the storm. Okay, this William Fortune, who was on Glenn Beck, said the same thing when Beck brought up that he has military personnel friends who talk about wartime situations and how they will say that you have about 72 hours. William Fortune said that's exactly right, spot on. All the research that he put into writing that book 1 second after, back in 2009, the exact same information. You've got about 3 days max. Why? That's when people start to realize help isn't coming. If things shut down to the point where we lose our power grid, we lose our water, you go to your kitchen, you go to your bathroom, and you turn that handle and nothing comes out of that faucet, then you're thinking, well, where am I going to get water? My kids need water. We need water to cook. We don't have any backup water in the house. Well, we'll borrow some from the neighbors. We'll call somebody. Well, what if the phones are down? You know, like what happened with AT&T. So you can't call the water company right away or the power company because maybe the power's out now. You don't have access to run your heater, your cook stove, your cooktop, you don't have an air conditioner running. Now you've got some serious inconveniences. And when we find out that that goes longer than a day or 2 days and up to 3 days, now there's a bigger concern that people will start to melt down. That's the thing that I fear the most. When we put this course together, BREP, the Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course, again, brcoalition.com, go check it out. When we put that course together, what we were intending to do was give people hope. Like, I just did a podcast earlier today, recorded it. It comes out next week. It'll come out Wednesday, March the 5th or 6th. I'm not sure what day that's on. It's going to come out, an interview with Cardinal Raymond Burke. Cardinal Raymond Burke is talking about this need for a 9-month novena of prayer that begins March 12th and goes to December 12th. And he says, we need this because we are facing so many evils in our world right now. And we're seeing so many threats that are rising when it comes to escalation of war, the threat against our society, when it comes to even things such as the AT&T example of what happens if we have grid down, power down, communications down, these types of things, because people have become very godless. So the novena, the intention is that we find Christ again through the intercession of the Blessed Mother. That is his goal for starting this 9-month novena. You can check out the Shrine to Our Lady of Guadalupe in La Crosse, Wisconsin, their website. That is where you'll find information on this novena, or just check out the U.S. Grace Force podcast next week. Now, I say this because it illustrates again the spiritual side of what's going on here. We don't have all these natural physical problems without a spiritual deprivation, a spiritual breakdown. And that's what's been going on in our world right now. So it is imperative that we deepen the spiritual life, yes, but that we act on the natural things that we need to do as well. Remember that the 7 corporal works of mercy and the 7 spiritual works of mercy are both taught. Spiritual, yes, admonish sinner, instruct the ignorant, counsel doubtful, comfort sorrowful, and so forth. But then you've got the corporal works of mercy, which are very important to our salvation as well. And that is feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, care for the sick, and so forth. Those are pieces that we all need, which is, again, part of why we put this course together, the Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course. Help people be better prepared. You know what you find when that happens? Think about this. When the AT&T situation happened and you couldn't make a phone call and you were concerned about your loved ones and you had no plan, where was the hope in that? Because when we have no plan of action in the face of some kind of a crisis, it can very easily move us to discouragement. We can be overwhelmed by the pressures of what's going on. But when you have a plan of action in the midst of a crisis, when you're confronted with the crisis, that plan of action can be a source of hope. And so something like the BREP course at brcoalition.com helps you have a plan of action. And so that inventory list that I encourage you to take, get your pen out and write down. We need water. We need food. We need to know how to store that food. We need to have a plan of action of where we're going if our home gets compromised and we have to move to another location. How do we get there? What are the good things to have along the way? So whenever we see these articles and these stories, and again, I've got a couple over, I got several up here on the other monitor, and they're talking about, are you ready for what's coming next? This is a foreshadowing of what is to come. This could be an example of what we'll all be struck with on a greater scale. Even Marco Rubio came out and said, this AT&T situation is nothing compared to a serious cyber attack from China. When they flip the switch, it'll be 100 times worse, he said. So there's another example of someone who sees that what we just experienced and what we're experiencing with these glitches here and there that are actually in some ways setting healthcare areas, and even the Butler County Sheriff, Richard Jones, said his entire sheriff's department was set back because of a cyber attack, and that they try to attack his particular sheriff's department. And he's not alone, at least 5 times a day from China and 3 times a day from Iran. Check out the video. He says it. What I'm saying is these attacks are already happening. They're giving us a taste. Are we ready? What do we need to do to be better prepared? The BR Coalition course, the Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course at brcoalition.com is a great way to get started. It's on sale right now. I highly encourage that. But even if you don't buy that course, do something today. You're watching this video, when it's over, get out there and do something. Extra food, extra water, extra medical. But understanding the skills of these things is also pretty critical. And again, that's the stuff that we teach and we encourage in the BR Coalition, in the BREP course, the Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course at brcoalition.com. Look, I want to leave you with this. The articles are out there, the stories are out there, the headlines are out there. I just hit you with a few. Okay, the warning against NATO, what NATO says they'll do, this constant back and forth with possible escalation of war, while we are seeing cyber attacks unfolding in the U.S. Israel was hit with a cyber attack, by the way, roughly the same time we were hit, AT&T here. Communications in Israel were hit with a cyber attack from Iran. That's not being reported very much, but that's out there as well. And we've got experts in the field, as I mentioned, who are saying very clearly they do not believe that the AT&T incident was a computer glitch from an upgrade, software upgrade. They believe it was, and my friend told me this directly, we believe 100% it was cyber warfare. With these things in place, what have you done? What are you doing? What will you do now? Conversations with your loved ones, building community, understanding what direction you need to go if there's a problem and you can't reach somebody that you know you really want to reach or should reach. These are things that are very important to remember, but they're more important to act on now. So again, I highly encourage you, go out to brcoalition.com, check out the BREP course. Be Ready Emergency Preparedness course. It's on sale right now at the time I record this, at the time we're live here on February 28th. But I want to encourage you, do something. Deepen the prayer life and be better prepared on a natural level. Food, water, shelter, medical, and defense. Those are the 5 key things that we teach, and a lot of stuff underneath those in the course that will help you move the right direction. The communication issue we just experienced with AT&T, the problems that are going on in the health industry right now with things such as pharmacies not being able to fulfill their responsibility of people's prescriptions, these could just be the tip of the iceberg and most likely are. What steps will you take? What steps will I take? What steps will we take to help other people be better prepared? So I leave you with that. Hope is found when you have a plan of action in the face of a crisis. I hope and pray that you will take the steps necessary to be better prepared. The more of us that are better prepared, the better off we all are. All right. And also don't forget to go out to Our Lady of Guadalupe Shrine in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Check out their website for information on the novena that His Eminence Cardinal Raymond Burke is asking all of us to be involved in praying, because he says, as he said to me when I interviewed him, I said, what happens if we don't respond the right way? He said, then we're lost. All right. Our society is really hinging right now. There's a lot of bad things going on in this world, a lot of good, but there's a lot of bad. Let's be part of the good. And part of being that part of the good is being men and women who are better prepared, body, mind, and soul. brcoalition.com. Check it out. BREP course on sale now for just a little while longer. I hope and pray you do something, make that inventory list, and then get active. All right. God bless and strength you all. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Take care.